The Summer Kings start off their Las Vegas Summer League campaign 2-0 with a 109-92 victory against the Chicago Bulls in a game led by Devin Carter going for 30 points, a massive bounce back game for him. After he really struggled in his first Summer League game, 8 points, 2 for 14 from the field, massive bounce back here. That's exactly what we wanted to see from him. And just overall for the Kings, I thought we saw a ton of great performances. Nique, Clifford, Maxime, Raynaud, Isaiah Crawford. I was really happy with his performance. I mean, I think it's really just hard to pick out a bad performance from this game. And it was against the Chicago Bulls team who were sitting Matas Buzelis out, and Noah Senge went down midway through this game. It was also a Bulls team that set a record 34 turnovers in their first Summer League game and only had 8 assists. But nonetheless, a very good performance and a lot of really good individual performances from the Kings. Of course, like I said, led by Devin Carter in a massive bounce back game. And what this really reminded me of with Devin Carter was last year's Summer League when Keon Ellis was playing in that Summer League, and he came out against, I think it was like against the Utah Jazz. In 30 plus minutes, he scored 2 points. And then the next game, he came out, scored 29 points. And so I think that's a good reminder that we shouldn't overreact to individual games from Summer League, because Keon Ellis at that point was a player who had started for the Kings. That was a Keon Ellis coming off his play-in performance against the Warriors, where he played really well and started a bunch of games for the Kings down the stretch, and he still had a game where he only scored 2 points in Summer League. And so really what we just needed to see was a bounce back game from Devin Carter, and that's absolutely what we got. And I think a lot of it has to do with just his aggressiveness and mindset towards scoring the ball. After his last game, where he didn't perform well and he didn't score the ball, I compared it to his performances in the G League last year, where he looked super aggressive and he was just constantly looking to score the ball. And that's not what he was doing last game. But this game, he looked like that player. He looked like the player that played in the G League that just dominated scoring the ball. And this was the player who I thought could be in contention for a Summer League MVP, because I knew he was capable of this. I knew he was capable of scoring like this, especially against this level of competition. And so I really think what happened was last game, he was just trying to play the point guard position. He was trying to get others involved. He was trying to be the playmaker. And he was playing in a very slow and methodical manner. And he just wasn't looking to score for himself. And then this game, he came out and he was just so much more aggressive and decisive. He looked so hesitant last game. And this game, he looked so decisive when he was open from 3, even a little bit. He was taking that shot. I thought it was big that he knocked down his first 3. And, he got a little lucky, got a nice little bounce and roll. But it doesn't matter. As long as it goes down, it's all good. I think that gave him the confidence, and he just continued to be aggressive throughout. And he was dominating on both ends. He had a couple of steals early, but his offense, his three-point shooting was really what led the Kings out to a very good offensive start in this game. And then when he went out, especially in the second quarter, that's when the Kings offense really struggled. Like, he was the guy leading the Kings offense, looked super confident in pulling up from 3, step backs, closely contested three-point shots. And so obviously the three-pointer going down was massive in opening up the game for him, but then he also had his attacking game. He was able to get inside and he was able to get all the way to the rim, which is not what we saw last game. Last game, he was able to get into the paint, but there was always a body in between him and the rim, and he was always trying to finish over and through somebody. Whereas this game, he was able to get all the way to the rim, using his three-point shot initially, got that respect from the three-point line. Then he was able to go all the way to the rim. And so I think what this really showed is it showed where he's comfortable. It showed the position that he's comfortable playing. Now, could this be a problem when it comes to how he will get minutes with the actual Sacramento Kings? Absolutely, because the Kings really have a spot for a point guard, whereas they don't have a spot for just another shooting guard, just another off-ball player. And so if he wants to get more minutes, it would be nice if he could fill in at the point guard spot, but that's really not who he is. We saw some really nice moments of him being able to grab rebounds and push the ball the other way and find some guys in transition, but when it comes to that half-court offense, he's just really not the playmaker. When it comes time for the NBA season, it's going to be tough for him to get minutes behind Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis. But when you're just looking at him as an individual, he showed what he could do in this game. He showed where he was most comfortable. He showed where he should fit in if we want to get the most out of him. And for young players, especially the guys who aren't going to be the star players, that fit is so important, and it doesn't really feel like he fits right now on the Kings, but that may change in the future. So no matter what, I mean, if he can knock down the three like he was in this game, we're going to have to find minutes for him somehow, and you never know what the future holds. So it was just good to see him have a great bounce back in this one. He also was showing that personality, constantly trash talking the Bulls bench, but a great 30-point, 8 rebound, 3 assist, 3 steal performance from him. It was really all Devin Carter in the first half, and so when he went out in that second quarter, that's when the Kings really struggled, gave up their 17-point lead, and the Bulls started coming back. Isaiah Stevens had some nice contributions. He knocked down a pull-up 3, knocked down a catch-and-shoot 3 in that first half, and he did impress me. He didn't have the ball a lot, but it seemed like every time he did have the ball and every time he was in the game, he was making a big impact. He had the best plus minus on the team at a plus 28. He was able to get 10 points, 4 assists, 2 steals in only 19 minutes. The first game for him, he just didn't shoot it very well. But I think in both games, we've seen his comfortability on the ball, getting to his spots. He did that once again. This time, he was just able to knock down those shots, had some really nice passing. So I'm liking what we're seeing from Isaiah Stevens, and he was chipping in that first half. We also saw Nique Clifford with some good playmaking. Nique had another game where his scoring didn't really come around until the second half. I think he only had 6 points in the first half, but his playmaking was there. He was making some really nice passes. There were also some little sloppy moments. I think he started off with some really impressive playmaking, and then as the game went on, the sloppiness kind of showed through, and there were some bad turnovers in there, but it does feel like most of the time he's in control of himself. And I like his aggressiveness. I like how he crosses half court and he makes a decision. You can see he's crossing half court at one speed, and then he just turns on the accelerator and tries to get all the way to the rim. And he had some nice finishes, had some nice kickouts, had a really nice kick out to Isaac Jones in the corner, and Isaac just missed a wide open 3. He found Raynaud for 3, but sometimes he got a little sped up and he would try to feed passes inside that weren't quite there. But I thought he had a lot of good ideas. Some of the passes just went a little awry, but the ideas were always there. He had 5 assists, 2 5 turnovers. But as I keep watching him handle the ball and make these passes, it does give me a little more faith. Maybe he really can be the backup point guard for this team. I mean, it may not always be pretty, especially in his rookie season, like we're seeing here with the turnovers. But I'm really understanding what the Kings see in him as a possible backup point guard. The thing that the Kings really struggled with in the first half was defensive rebounding. I think you can put a lot of that onto Maxime Raynaud, who was just really struggling inside on both ends. He started off missing some bunnies on the offensive end, just not going up with force, not really having the vertical leaping ability, and then just not going hard after rebounds on the defensive end. I just don't think he was playing with enough force, with enough physicality, and other guys as well, like Isaac Jones, needed to get in there and really grab some rebounds. And the defense, while it was really good in the first quarter, fell off in the second quarter. But then, going into the second half, I thought they did a much better job at rebounding the ball. Raynaud was better in almost every way in the second half. He wasn't great in the first half. He had a couple moments, but it was the second half where he really showed his ability. And I think the place where his ability really showed through was on the perimeter offensively, where he was very comfortable receiving the ball and finding other players. He was the one directing the offense a lot of the times, and I thought he had some really nice chemistry with Mason Jones in the dribble handoff, which is a very good sign for the Kings. As you know, the Kings, a team that runs a lot of dribble handoff with Domantas Sabonis, and we've tried to run that same offense with other guys like Alex Len or Jonas Valanciunas to varying degrees of success. Not much with Len, a little more with Valanciunas. And so you're hoping that Raynaud can be a guy that comes in and has that passing ability and is able to continue to run the Kings offense. And he looked really good. He was making quick decisions with the ball. I loved how he would hand the ball off to Mason Jones, immediately roll to the rim. He would get the ball back from Mason, and then he would just make really quick decisions with it. And his touch around the rim, especially in that second half, was really good. He finished the game with 17 points, 8 for 15 from the field, but it wasn't just him rolling to the rim and finishing. He was doing other things as well. Again, just like last game, just knowing where to be on the offensive end. When things would slow down, he would know to flash to the elbow, to go get the ball. He was able to attack closeouts, find some really nice passes. He found Isaac Jones on a nice backdoor cut. And then defensively, again, like I thought his rebounding was better in the second half. He wasn't really a shot blocking presence. I do think the one thing he does well in the defensive end is when he's playing in that drop coverage, he's active with his hands. He's trying to bat the ball away. He's trying to break things up early, down low. Once guys get up high on him, he's really not contesting the shots all that well. He's not blocking the shots, but he breaks up passes. He gets his hands on the ball down low. So I really like that. And he was also on one play able to close out on Ulbrich, but then also stop the drive. And so he showed some of the lateral quickness. He also in the fourth quarter showed his ability to score in the post. So was really happy with his second half. In that fourth quarter, it was really Maxime Raynaud and Nique Clifford, the two rookies, going back and forth scoring. I mean, they both started out scoring in the post. Nique threw a behind the back pass. I can't remember who it was to. They missed the shot, but that was really nice. Nique also hit a couple of threes in that fourth quarter. And I feel like he looks very confident with his three-point shot. He doesn't take a whole ton of threes. He's not just jacking them up. He picks and chooses when to get his three-point attempts up, but the three-point shot is looking good both on pull-ups and on catch and shoot opportunities. He was also able to get into the mid-range a little bit, which was nice. Got that offensive rebound and just pulled up from the mid-range, knocked it down. Obviously, you want everyone to play well in Summer League, but there are certain guys that you want to play well more than others. And so from the Kings' perspective, you want your best draft picks to play well. And so that's Devin Carter, that's Nique Clifford, and that's Maxime Raynaud. And all three of those guys were the guys leading the team in scoring. 30 points, 19 points, 17 points. Super impressive. And that's not to say that other guys didn't play well. They did, but those were the three standouts. As for the other guys, I mentioned Isaiah Stevens, him shooting well, getting to his spots using his quickness. But then I have to talk about Isaiah Crawford, because I said in my Summer League preview video that Isaiah Crawford was the main guy that I was watching coming into the Summer League, because I felt like this was his big chance to really show what he can do. And he felt super passive in game one, but he absolutely turned up the aggressiveness in this game. In the first half was super aggressive, going to the rim, and it didn't always work out. I think he had, maybe one bucket, but in the second half, he just continued to go at it. He didn't let an air ball three deter him. He kept shooting, kept being aggressive, kept going to the rim hard, and he was doing it in multiple ways, cutting off ball, getting on the ball, and looking confident and decisive, which is just not something you normally see from him, and that's exactly what I wanted to see. So it was very nice to see him decisive on the ball, looking confident, trying to get to the rim, also pulling up from three, and he ended up with 13 points, 2 for 4 from three, 5 for 8 from the field, because we know what he can do defensively, and he had some great moments defensively in the second half, but he's just needed to be more aggressive offensively, and that's exactly what we saw from him in this game as a whole, and the success came in the second half for him. And then you have Isaac Jones. He ended the game with 11 points, 6 rebounds, somehow 0 blocks. I felt like he had because he had a massive block and it got called a foul. I think it was completely clean. Early on, I was noticing that he wasn't really being a presence around the rim, but then he completely flipped that as the game went on. I feel like the coaching staff must have said something to the team as a whole, because both Isaac Jones and Maxime Raynaud both just increased their presence on the interior as the game went on. And Isaac had some nice finishes inside, finishing through contact, was contesting shots well, went 1 for 2 on corner threes, which, is what you want to see. Not a big volume, but he knocked one down. So a solid game from him. And then you have Dylan Cardwell, who his rebounding was really good, had that massive chase down block, has hands of stone. Was not really contributing much offensively except for an offensive rebound that he had. But he was definitely a presence when it came to rebounding the basketball. He ended the game with 5 rebounds, and that's in only 11 minutes, but definitely offensively when he got the ball, bad things were happening or nothing was happening. So he needs to improve his ability to catch the ball and just the decision making when he gets it. He has to find a way to contribute in some way offensively because he has the physical tools defensively, and he showed that with that massive chase down block. He showed it with his rebounding, so he's got to find a way offensively. And then everyone else kind of had quiet games. Kinsey plowed in. Mason Jones even had a quiet game, definitely by his standards, 5 points, 6 assists. That's kind of what I like to see though from Mason Jones. Just be the distributor, get these other young guys involved, be the veteran ball handler. I know he said he wanted to be back with the Kings next season. Not sure that's going to happen, but I did appreciate him running that dribble handoff game with Maxime Raynaud, finding Raynaud on those rolls, just looking to play the right way and make the right play every time down. Last notes from this game, I would say the rebounding from Devin Carter and Nique Clifford really popped. Devin had 8 rebounds. Nique Clifford ended with a double-double, 19 points with the 12 rebounds. And I feel like with those two guys, you're getting guys that aren't afraid to do the dirty work and do a lot of things to help with winning, especially with Nique Clifford, with the way he's able to handle the ball, pass the ball, rebound the ball, shoot the ball from deep. He had some really nice finishes inside, was able to shoot from the mid-range. It just felt like he was doing a little bit of everything. And so far in Summer League, he's performing consistently, which is exactly what you want to see out of an older rookie, someone who's supposed to be ready to contribute right away to the NBA team. So definitely positive signs for him so far. So the Kings 2-0 so far. Their next game is against the Phoenix Suns. I said I'd be disappointed if this Summer League Kings team didn't make a run at the Summer League Championship. So 2-0 is a very good start because they're an older Summer League team. Feels like a team, especially with the way that they can defend, that should have a chance at the Summer League title. So that's exactly what they're doing. They're giving themselves a chance here. Good vibes so far. We'll see if the Kings sit anyone, like if Devin Carter sits. I really doubt he will, but you saw what the Bulls did with Buzelis, where one game into Vegas Summer League and they're already sitting him. Maybe they're just sitting him the one game and they're going to play him in the next one. I don't know. But hopefully no one's getting sat for the Kings. I don't think anyone should. I mean, no one here is too good for Summer League at this point in my mind. So this next game against the Suns, guys to look out for on the Suns, Malawach as a massive force inside. You have Oso Ighodaro, Ryan Dunn, both guys who were drafted last year and played for the Suns last year. Kobe Brea, who was drafted by the Suns this year. And then they have Boogie Ellis off the bench. Boogie Ellis, of course, playing for the Kings last year in Summer League. Played a little bit in Stockton, but an injury really kept him out of Stockton. So now he's playing for the Suns in Summer League, playing really well. So maybe there's going to be a little bit of a Boogie Ellis revenge game. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can lock him up. So anyways, that is it for this episode of the Roll Report. I will be back on Monday to recap the Kings' next Summer League game against the Phoenix Suns. I will see you guys then. Peace.